What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazika, the Fight Guys, and I'm also a Forbes contributor. I want to talk to you about my latest pound for pound ranking. I posted this on Forbes, and it got a lot of conversation, and I knew that that would happen, but I must say that it still amazes me how much disrespect the WBC heavyweight champion still receives. Deontay Wilder, and for those of you who did not see my article, I have Deontay Wilder as my number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Now, I've gotten all kinds of flack for this. People saying, "Oh, you're just trying to say something that generates a conversation and this, that, and the third." That is absolutely not the case. I feel as though I provided very sound reasoning for why Deontay Wilder was my number one pound for pound fighter. And whether you agree or not is up to you. But I don't think that anyone can say that the reasoning that I provided is not reasonable. So I'm gonna obviously I've already kind of spoiled the top spot for you, but I'm gonna go through 1 through 10 who I have. So starting at number 10, I got Manny Pacquiao, 62, 7-2, 39 knockouts, turns 41 this month, or I think I might have already turned 41. But he proved this year that he can still fight with the elite welterweights in the world. Defeated Keith Thurman, defeated Adrian Broner. Not that I'm saying Adrian Broner is an elite welterweight, but very good win for Pacquiao. Dominated the way you thought he should. Number 9, I got GENNADY Golovkin. I'm seeing a lot of fall off in Golovkin just personally. I thought Sergey Derevyanchenko beat him. I think that I'm not, well, I shouldn't say, I'm not positive that Golovkin is still one of the top 3 middleweights in the world. So we're going to see. I don't know who he's going to get. I know he's chasing that third fight with Canelo. Not sure who he's going to get, but he's dropping a bit for me. Also, someone else who's dropping a bit is Errol Spence Jr. Has nothing to do, obviously, with the accident. Thankfully, he's fine. But against Sean Porter, he looked as beatable as he's ever looked to me. Did come up with the clutch knockdown late in the fight to really kind of seal it, not so much with the judges, but I would say in the court of public opinion. I think that he sealed that victory and took and removed all doubt that he won the fight once he dropped Sean Porter, who everybody knows is a super tough dude to drop and hurt. Big time chin. I thought Sean Porter fought really well in that fight. Hopefully, when Errol Spence does return to the ring, he hasn't lost anything physically and mentally. Going through a car accident can be a really taxing thing, so we don't know what exactly is going to be there. But for right now, I got him all the way at number 8. We'll see what happens once he comes back. Number 7, if you don't know about this guy, it's because you have some sort of size bias probably, and you're not paying attention to the lower weight classes. I got number 7, Juan Francisco Estrada. 40-3, 27 knockouts. I mean, my man has victories over Srisakai Rungvisai. He has battled Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. He beat Felipe Orakuta. He just beat Dwayne Beeman. This guy is, as a super flyweight, he is handling business, taking on everybody you can think of in the super flyweight division. He's only 29 years old. I think he is in my opinion, the most underrated Mexican fighter in the world right now, and one of the best fighters, period. Number 6, I got OLEKSANDR USYK. Just made his heavyweight debut. Looked pretty good against Chaz Witherspoon, which was a late replacement after Tyrone Spong failed a pre-fight drug test. And USYK looks great. He easily just dominated at cruiserweight. Everybody was waiting on him to make his heavyweight debut. That's happened. There's a chance he might fight Anthony Joshua in his next fight. I'll be interested to see what happens if that happens. And obviously, he'd be able to move further up if he was able to win the take whatever belts Joshua still has once that happens, because there's some talk he could lose 1 or 2 of the belts because there's a mandatory defense coming up. I would hope the 2 governing bodies work together so that we can make a unification fight that, creates an undisputed champion a little bit easier, but we'll see. Number 5, here's where I'm starting to get some real hate. I got Canelo Alvarez. It is impressive that Canelo has won world titles in 3 different weight classes, even though the 168-pound title wasn't really a true world title when he beat Rocky Fielding. But I'm going to say this. The defeat or the knockout victory over Sergey Kovalev did not impress me quite as much as maybe it impressed some other people. I think that Canelo is really cherry picking opponents right now. He wanted to go up and get a fight at 175 and win a world title, and I think he picked the most beatable 175-pound champion he could find. Didn't want any of Dimitri Bivol, which I thought would have been a very tough fight for him, especially at 175. Didn't want any of Callum Smith at 168 at the time. So maybe he'll want some of Callum Smith now that he saw him fight John Ryder and win, but not look dominant. I don't know. But right about now, I'm not pleased with the way that Canelo is picking opponents. He is winning, but I think victories over people like Demetrius Andrade, Jamal Charlo, that sort of thing would be more impressive than what he's been doing of late. So number 5 is still fantastic, still shows you're truly elite, but that's where I have him right now. Number 4, Naoya Inoue, the monster, 19-0, 16 knockouts, coming off a World Boxing Super Series victory over Nonito Donaire. I mean, this guy is, I almost had him as high as like number 2 or 3. I really did. He is a fantastic fighter, and I learned so much about him against Nonito Donaire because he was truly tested. The power is real, and the boxing skills and the toughness and the heart are as well. I'm not sure who of anybody's going to beat this guy anytime soon, but if somebody pulls it off, it's going to be a fantastic performance. He's with Top Rank now, so we should be able to see him a little bit more in the United States. He has a chance to be a star. I'm talking about a real star because there's something about this dude. He has some sort of, just some sort of charisma that is different. And as a Japanese champion, I think he has crossover ability for American audiences. I think him signing with Top Rank is great for both him and the Top Rank brand. I can't wait to see what happens with him moving forward. Number 3, I have VASYL Lomachenko. A lot of people have him number 1, number 2. I got Lomachenko number 3. I'm starting to see a little bit of give with him. He's still phenomenal. He's still fantastic. He still beats almost everybody in the weight class. Coming off an explosive KO over Anthony Crawler. Then he got a gutsy win over Luke Campbell, which I thought was a really good performance. Some people tried to kind of talk down by it. But he does have a loss on his record. Obviously, it was early in his professional career. He was also put down by Jorge Linares. Like you said, Luke Campbell gave him a really good fight. So I don't think Lomachenko was invincible. He's definitely a fantastic fighter. But right now, I got him number 3. Number 2, I got the gentleman who fights on Saturday, Terence Crawford. You know why I got Crawford? I got Crawford because he unified an entire division, came up to welterweight, and has had very little difficulty with most of his opponents. On Saturday, he takes on Egidijus Kavaliauskas. I'm always saying that name. It's a pretty difficult name to say, but he is an undefeated title challenger. And, of course, Crawford's a major favorite to win. Crawford's in a tough situation because all of the top welterweights who you would normally see him fight are signed with PBC, and we all know how that goes because Crawford's with Top Rank. But I think that Crawford has knocked down everybody that's been lined up in front of him. I think he showed the least amount of difficulty with the top-level challengers, especially when you go back down to who he fought at 140. And I got him as number 2. Like I said, my number 1 guy is Deontay Wilder. And I got to explain to you. Everybody want to talk about the fact he has skinny legs and he's wild and he's not the most conventional looking fighter. But I really think people are putting aesthetics above the bottom line results. And we all know about the adage of all it takes is one, especially in the heavyweight division. And in my opinion, there is no fighter in the history of the sport who has more embodied the concept of all it takes is one. Deontay Wilder says something, and a lot of times you got to dismiss the stuff that Deontay says because he just gets to talk and he starts saying wild, crazy stuff, and you're just like, okay, somebody turn his mic off. But he says something that I really feel like is right on point. He says they have to be perfect against me for 36 minutes. I just got to be perfect for 2 seconds. Because I've been watching and following. I've been covering boxing for over 10 years. I've been watching boxing for about 40 years. I've seen a lot of big time punches. Tyson, Foreman, Ernie Shavers, all kinds of people, right? I've never seen anybody that hits like Deontay Wilder. Never. Never, never, never. It's one shot, man. It truly takes is one. And to compound that power, he also has a good chin, which is like almost unfair, right? The jab is, I think, a little underrated. Don't get me wrong. He's not freaking Larry Holmes, okay? He's not Tim Witherspoon with the jab, but it's a good jab, especially when the opponents have to be so wary of the right hand. His stamina isn't tip top. It's not through the roof, but it is good enough, especially because he's learning to fight at pace a little bit more. Obviously, we have the height and the reach that is just ridiculous. But the other thing about it is Deontay has heart. Deontay is a dog. He's a dog. Like, he has a quality as a fighter that you just can't teach. And to me, what made me put him over as the #1 fighter in the world on my list is because the margin for error against Deontay Wilder is smaller than it is with any other fighter on the planet. You take the package of what Deontay Wilder is and you put it in any weight class against any fighter. So imagine a fighter with the length advantage that he has. So obviously I'm not talking about a 6'6" welterweight, but comparably a 6'2" welterweight who has the length, the arm length that he has, who has the power in the right hand that he has. Because this is what you have to consider when you talk about pound for pound. You're talking about taking this fighter as they are and putting them in other weight classes with their skills, shrinking them down to that size, and saying, okay, how would you do against this guy? I think he knocks Canelo out. He's a middleweight with these same skills. Even with his wildness, he knocks Canelo out. I think he knocks Terence, Crawford. I mean, the power, man. It's because, can you tell me definitively that Lomachenko, Canelo, Crawford could go through an entire fight with a guy in their weight class with proportionately similar dimensions? Can you tell me those guys could go through a whole 12 rounds without feeling that power, even with their superior boxing skills over Deontay? And if the answer is no, they got to take one. If the power is transmitted downward, they can't take one. No one's been able to really do it yet. Tyson Fury got up twice off the deck, but I don't know. For me, the guy, when you create a margin of error that is this small, you make one mistake and you go to sleep. Night. Get your blanket ready. For me, that's the #1 fighter in the world. 42-0-1, 41 knockouts. Every man he has faced has touched the canvas. Every man he has faced has touched the canvas. That's got to count for something. I appreciate you watching as always. God bless and peace.